is now in session. Judge Sidney presiding. Please be seated.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Calling the case of King Fortinbras versus the estate of Laertes for the murder of Hamlet. Are both sides ready?
Ready for King Fortinbras, Your Honor.
Ready for the defense, Your Honor. All right. Will the clerk please swear in the jury?
Will the jury please stand and raise your right hand? Do each of you swear that you will fairly try the case before this court and that you will return a true verdict according to the evidence and the instructions of the court, so help you God?
I do.
Please say I do.
I do.
You may be seated.
Good afternoon, Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Today we are looking into the case that should have been a friendly duel between two friends, but ended in the death of the royal family, more specifically Hamlet. Laertes, the other participant in the duel, knowingly poisoned his opponent. Laertes only wanted revenge for his father's accidental death caused by the possibly insanity-driven Hamlet. Of course, who wouldn't go crazy when you find out your uncle murdered your dad, married your mom, ascended to the throne, and asked your friends to spy on you for his own benefit, and then tried to have you murdered. Laertes, on the other hand, just wanted revenge for his father, who was interjecting himself into situations that had no concern for him. Laertes is not the type of person to be trusted. Even his father didn't trust him, and in turn, sent his servant Rinaldo to France to spy on Laertes. Laertes overreacts and doesn't bother to figure out the whole story before acting. When he returned to Elsinore, he confronts Claudius first, blaming him for Polonius' death. The revenge-stricken Laertes then decides to duel Hamlet with the poisoned sword. My opponent may argue that Claudius manipulated him, but he wanted revenge on Hamlet, while Claudius had no reason to murder his nephew. The bottom line is that Laertes knew what he was doing when he murdered Hamlet.
Thank you, prosecution. Will the defense now state their opening statement?
Good afternoon, Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, and thank you for being here today. My name is Ms. Haley Smith, defense attorney, and it is my privilege to represent the estate of Laertes in this case before you today. In heated moments of greatest intensity, we all must make quick decisions to protect ourselves. Sometimes we must take action and do things we don't want to do in order to survive. You have heard the prosecutor explain what she hopes will be proven, but the prosecutor did not share all the facts. The prosecutor has explained that my client was identified as a murderer, but in fact, a supposed eyewitness could be guilty himself. My reliable witnesses will explain what really happened at the fencing match and prove that Prince Hamlet and Laertes resolved their differences, which negates a motive for murder. Many chaotic events took place that night of Prince Hamlet's death. People in the room had to act quickly and try to save themselves. The prosecutor has explained that my client is behind the death of Prince Hamlet, but in reality, Prince Hamlet made the first hit, and my client had no choice but to use self-defense. In fear of sharing a similar fate to that of his father, Laertes responded in self-defense, knowing that Hamlet was not in a right state of mind, and he knew what he was capable of. So we would ask you to keep an open mind and listen to all the evidence and return a verdict of not guilty. Thank you.
Thank you, defense. Will the prosecution now call its first witness?
I call Claudius to the stand. How did Hamlet die so quickly?
Hamlet and Laertes were fencing, and Laertes wounded Hamlet. The sword with which Laertes stabbed Hamlet was poison. Laertes even states that he would anoint his sword with poison before the match.
Why would Laertes want to kill Hamlet?
Hamlet killed his father, Polonius, because Laertes sought justice. When speaking with Laertes, he did say that it warmed the very sickness of his heart to get revenge on Hamlet.
Did Laertes go to the fencing match with the intention of killing Hamlet?
Yes, I stated previously that Laertes even prepared his weapon before the match with poison.
What type of sword did Laertes use in the duel?
Laertes used a sword that was not blunted.
What? What happened directly after Laertes stabbed Hamlet?
poison drink, which happened to be Larity's backup plan. Just in case his poison reaper did not work, Hamlet did manage to wound Laertes with the same poisoned sword. After that, Laertes conversed with Hamlet, telling him that his death was fast approaching.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What does defense look like?
Yes. Do you know if the murder was premeditated?
Yes, Laertes already planned on killing Hamlet in order to revenge his father's death. He felt that that was the only way to find true justice.
Was this Laertes' original idea?
Yes, Laertes wanted revenge. He returned from Paris with the sole purpose of avenging his father's death.
And were you aware of any plan of Hamlet's death?
Yes.
Were you planning on stopping such plans?
No, I am king and I cannot let drama interfere with the state of my kingdom.
Thank you. No further questions.
You're welcome.
Thank you, defense. Will the prosecution pull up their next witness, please?
I call Ronaldo to the stand. Good morning.
Good morning.
Why did Polonius send you to Paris?
He sent me there to spy on Laertes, or he was worried that he was acting foolish in Paris.